Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper. So this is going to be episode 2 of Shadows of Evil Closer Look. There's going to be a lot more to come because we still have a ton to go over, but today's episode is about the 4 characters, more specifically the radios and the phone calls that go with each one. Kind of explains their backstory a little bit and also gives some very interesting and insightful information about how they're related and all that sort of stuff. So they're really interesting. Like I said, I'm going to let you guys listen to it just like the last episode. If you haven't seen the last episode, it was about the journalist in Morgue City. I'm going to leave that video in a playlist. I'm going to make a whole playlist for Shadows of Evil Closer Look, by the way, if you want to look at them all. But so like I said, today is just about the 4 characters, backstories and bios and how they're related and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys do enjoy, and we're going to talk about this at the end. But for now, just enjoy the telephone calls.
As you know, I'm looking to cast the female lead in my new picture. And I heard that you have quite the roster of up-and-coming talent in this town.
Can you maybe tell me a little more about what kind of woman you're looking for?
I'm looking for an all-American girl, a real beauty. I heard you may know an aspiring actress by the name of Jessica Rose.
The burlesque dancer? She ain't exactly peaches and cream. More sugar and spice.
I heard she's a real firecracker, if you know what I mean. I'd like to meet her. Give her a screen test.
Leave it with me. I'll get back to you. Hey, Jessica. A movie director came by to talk to me today, said he wanted to meet you. I gotta be honest, I didn't get a good feeling from him. I told him where to go. Well, not in so many words. Listen, I'm glad you didn't sign that studio contract. Truth is, I'm not even much of a producer. I'm more of a talent wrangler. Here's the thing. My partner's written a musical that just got financing. I know that you're going to be perfect for the lead. This time next year, you're going to be on Broadway, baby!
As you can see, these documents give some indication as to the considerable amounts of money we are talking about.
My client would never have signed the authorization on these loans.
Nonetheless, there it is, in black and white, signed by the Mrs. herself.
Nero's family estate is not what it once was. Even if these documents are genuine, we'll need some time to get our affairs in order.
I would advise your client that our company intends to aggressively pursue settlement within 1 week, 15 days at the most.
Look, I need to make a call. My secretary will see you out.
Some war monster comes for its babies?
Nero, I have the most wonderful news. The loan documents were fraudulent. Well, your wife was fraudulent. She forged your signature on the loan agreements, and we can prove it. The date on the forms says November 5th last year. Exactly the same time that you were in the hospital following your performance of the amphibious man. You couldn't possibly have signed those papers. You were in a coma for the entire month.
Putting aside your enormous self-interests as a promoter, what would you like to say to boxing fans everywhere about the upcoming fight? Yeah, particularly with regard to this last-minute substitution. Floyd Campbell?
I'd like to say that Floyd Campbell is a credible opponent, despite how the bookies may see it.
What about the fact that fans would much rather see the #1 contender facing off with the champion, your champion, as opposed to this little herd of journeyman fighter?
Look, there's no doubt that Floyd Campbell is the underdog. Nevertheless,
Are you using Campbell to keep your big money maker away from opponents who could be just a little too dangerous?
the champ doesn't avoid anyone.
But
But nothing. This interview is over. No further questions. Hey, Floyd, you did good. You kept your word, delivered the knockout. I just wanted to tell you not to worry about any fucking journalists or commission investigations. That shit is done. Anyways, besides setting your mind at rest, I wanted to give you the good news. It's all set. You got it, Floyd. You got your title shot. January 15th.
please understand that you yourself are not under any suspicion at this time. This is merely an informal interview.
Yeah, I know. Can we just cut to the chase?
The the chase. Excellent metaphor. Or is it an allegory? I can never remember the difference.
You want to know about my partner, Jack Vincent.
You're a good detective.
So what do you want to know? That he's a loudmouth, show-off, more than a little rough around the edges? That he's a drinker, smoker? How about the fact that he's got a wife that scares him more than any fucking criminal out there? What do you want me to tell you?
Is Jack Vincent on the take?
Listen, the more I talk to you, the more I'll get a reputation around the precinct. Can we maybe do this elsewhere? It's me. Some suit from Internal Affairs came by today, asking a whole bunch of questions. I didn't say shit, because I don't know shit. As far as I can tell, you're in the clear. I trust you, Jackie. You're my best friend. You're like a brother. Just wanted you to know that I got your back. Always.
So you may or may not have caught on what was going on here, and if you didn't, I'm going to try my best to explain it to you guys. If I misinterpret anything, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to try my best to interpret this 100% accurately for you guys, but I'm going to do my very best, so just bear with me here. But so we're going to start with the very first one. The first two phone calls were actually about Jessica. And the first one, so a producer, so-called, calls her manager and wants to, he's just honestly just trying to give her the nice one, if you know what I mean. But he said that he's working on a screenplay, and we don't know what that means, but he just wants Jessica. So he was, her manager kind of tricks her into saying, this is your one shot at like the big time. I'm getting this for you. And, this is your only chance. You better thank me because I'm your manager and I just got this great deal for you. So he's basically just tricking her into getting into the hands of this guy. We don't know who this guy is. Probably just some weirdo. We don't know yet. Maybe he could be a big character. We don't know that for sure yet, but that's what I got from Jessica's phone call. The next two phone calls were actually Nero the Magician. So these ones were probably, I had the hardest time interpreting these ones. This is definitely open to interpretation. I want to hear what you guys think about these ones. But what I got from this is that if you guys remember back in the trailer, Nero killed his wife, we think, because he was trying to get a life insurance policy because his wife ran up his credit or whatever, and he owes a lot of money. So that's what he's trying to get money for. And he was saying, like, there was a conversation between, I think, his secretary and the people who need the money. And essentially they're saying, look, his signature's on this. This is a valid document. We need our money. And then his friend calls him a little bit later, and he's saying, hey, we can prove that you did not sign this, that your wife forged your signature, and this is not a legit thing. He said, you were in a coma for a month during and trying to do an amphibious man trick. I don't know what that is, but apparently he was in a coma for a month, so there's no possible way that he could have signed this document to make it legal. So it looks like his wife has been underhanding him and just going behind his back and doing things and that sort of stuff. But basically that he's just trying to say that this document is in fact not valid. The next two phone calls after that were actually about Floyd the boxer, and it looks like his promoter, it's a conversation between his manager and his promoter, and he's asking the promoter what the fans will think that a number one contender is not going to be playing the champion, and rather Floyd has been put in as the last minute substitution. He's asking the promoter how the fans will react to that, and it seems like the promoter doesn't want to answer. He kind of shrugs it off, and he shuts down the interview. He says no more questions, and we don't know why. And then looks like this manager makes a phone call to Floyd saying, I got your shot. This is your time. This is your time to shine. Go and get that championship. And it looks like he's like almost coaxing him into something, like he's putting Floyd into something that he knows is bad for him, but is good for maybe either him personally or his publicity or something like that. I don't know. That's what I interpreted from that. And the very last two radios we had today were actually about Jack Vincent the cop. And so it looks like it is a conversation between somebody from Internal Affairs and his partner. We don't know his partner's name as far as I know. And the guy from Internal Affairs is asking about Jack Vincent. He wants some information. He wants some beef on him. And, his partner just kind of rats him out. He's just talking all this bad stuff about him. He's not holding back. He's saying, he's a loudmouth. He's an alcoholic, all this sort of stuff. And he's saying, can we just keep this low-key because I don't want either Jack or just other people finding out about it. He said his reputation will get bad if he's a snitch and things like that. And then a little bit later, his partner calls Jack and he says, hey, some guy from Internal Affairs came by. And he's like trying to cover himself, it seems like. He's like, oh, I didn't tell him anything. He's like, I'm just giving you a heads up. Watch out, bro. He said, I'm like a brother to you, man. And we know that from the trailer that Jack Vincent actually betrayed his partner. We think that's the guy who's up in the ritual when you do the cops ritual, which is all very interesting stuff. But that's what I interpreted from these phone calls. So like I said, these are very open to interpretation because they're kind of cryptic and very hard to understand. And I want you guys to voice your opinion on this too in the comment section down below. Like I said, guys, more Shadows of Evil closer look is coming in the near future. There's a lot of stuff you got to go over, you know, the Maxis radio, everything. There's so many little theories and things. I have so much stuff to go over, but I just don't have the time in one video to do it all. So this is going to be separated into a whole playlist. Once this playlist is all built, you guys can go through this whole thing and then you know, find out a lot of information about this map. But if you guys did enjoy this, if you did learn something, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.